You've probably heard of the CIA, MI6, maybe even Russia's FSB or China's MSS, but there's one alliance you've likely never heard of. It's called the Five Eyes Alliance. What began as a quiet agreement between the United States and the United Kingdom has evolved into a sprawling global intelligence sharing framework. Today, it's bigger, more interconnected, and far more invasive than anything the average person imagines when thinking about spying. And it's not just about catching terrorists or stopping global threats. The surveillance powers granted to these alliances can reach directly into your personal life. If you're connected to the internet, and let's be honest, who isn't, then your data may already be part of this massive intelligence operation. So what is the Five Eyes Alliance? After World War II, the US and UK signed the UK-USA agreement, laying the groundwork for sharing signals intelligence. Signals intelligence is defined by the NSA as intelligence derived from electronic signals and systems used by foreign targets. Soon, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand joined the pact. Together, these 5 English-speaking nations formed the core of what became known as the Five Eyes. Later, more countries were added to the extended circle. France, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Norway joined in to form what's called the Nine Eyes. Add Germany, Italy, Spain, Belgium, and Sweden, and you get the 14 Eyes. But here's where it gets really interesting and, frankly, disturbing. These alliances aren't just passive information exchangers. They actively collect data, monitor communications, and in many cases, circumvent their own domestic privacy laws by outsourcing surveillance to their allies. Can't legally spy on your own citizens? No problem. Just ask your Five Eyes partner to do it for you. This workaround has created a vast, multinational surveillance machine, and what it collects is nothing short of astonishing. Your internet browsing history, your search queries, emails, phone calls, video chats, text messages, social media activity, metadata, even encrypted communications under the right conditions. If it touches the internet, it can be tracked, recorded, and stored. And don't think this is just theoretical. Laws like the USA Patriot Act have made it legal to conduct sweeping surveillance with minimal oversight. And while other countries may have stricter laws on the books, being part of the alliance effectively bypasses many of those restrictions. And unless you know exactly where your data is going, it's impossible to know who's watching. So what can you do about it? First, use a VPN. VPNs aren't just for tech nerds or people doing shady things online. VPNs can encrypt your online activity. But not all VPNs are created equal. If your VPN is headquartered in a 14 Eyes country, your data can still be legally accessed. Even if they claim to protect your privacy, the laws in those countries can compel them to hand over data. That's why it's important to choose a VPN based outside of the 14 Eyes jurisdictions, ideally in a country with no intelligence sharing agreements and data privacy protections. Next, make sure your VPN provider has a strict no-logs policy. That means they don't store your activity, so even if they're asked, there's nothing to hand over. But don't stop there. Practice what's called internet hygiene. Be cautious about the sites you visit, the permissions you grant apps, and the information you willingly share on social media. Avoid software from alliance countries when possible, especially if it's marketed as a privacy or security tool. Ironically, many privacy apps are based in countries where surveillance isn't just legal, it's policy. And always remember this, the internet never forgets. Even if you're not doing anything illegal, your digital footprint can be tracked, stored, and analyzed. And in a world where data is currency, giving it away for free, or without knowing who's collecting it, is a risk none of us should take lightly. Online privacy isn't about hiding. It's about maintaining control over your personal space, your thoughts, your communication, and your freedom. So if you're serious about online privacy, start with a VPN based outside the Eyes alliances. Make sure it keeps no logs. And don't let the world's most powerful spy networks decide how private your life should be.